1 2 1 2. Well, here we are then, ladies and gentlemen. We are back here at Motive for the penultimate week of the Formula 1 League here for Season 5 on the F122 game. The penultimate event here on F122, obviously from the, well, next week will be the final round ever on F122. After that we'll be on F123. We'll take about a month break, get everything sort of sorted out and prepare ourselves for the new season, and then we'll be back on your screens. Probably I'd say about August maybe, or maybe July, who knows, it could be late July, but nonetheless we'll be back at some point over the course of the summer. But here we go then, penultimate round of Season 5. Championship already wrapped up. Unfortunately our champion-elect Gertian not here tonight, but we have got a very special guest, Joram, our three-time champion of the F1 League here at Motive, starting on pole position here after doing the fastest time in the one-shot qualifying session a few moments ago here for the sprint race tonight, as we're moments away from the lights out here. And it is lights out and away we go as Joram pulls off to the side there. So it looks like he's going to be doing a bit of a last to first challenge here, but it's Mike leading into turn 1 ahead of Dino, with Martin, who's got Papa Squanch looking to his inside here, coming through turn 1. Through this DRS as we go here for the first time. It's Mike from Dino from Martin with Papa Squanch there behind them. Looks like V10 Ultra's dropped a few places here. Nasty's in the wall. So at the moment they're coming through the centre S's on the first lap, and V10 Ultra's missing his front wing as well. So he's had an absolute horror show there as we come through into turn 4 for the first time, as Costas has made the move there on Felix up into 7th place. Felix though trying to keep it around the outside and up the inside for the right hander up the hill. As here we go, side by side, nothing between these guys, as Felix does make the move there back up into 7th, and you can see here behind these you've got Totally Zero with Senna up his inside, or sorry, around his outside even. Senna trying to make the move. Has he made that completed? I think he has done. Senna there gets himself through up into 9th place there. So lots of position changes here on the first lap, as you'd expect here. Bit of a chaotic first lap here at Brazil, as Senna there making the move on Felix, but Felix trying to get the momentum, gets a much better run there out of that corner. Holds on for the time being. Oh, there's crash between the two of them. Senna and Felix have taken each other out here, coming towards the back end of the circuit. Oh, you couldn't make it up there. That was absolutely ridiculous. Totally handbags between the two of them. They got stuck together and into the wall they went. Safety car's been deployed here at the end of lap 1 here for the sprint race. And we're down to 12 drivers here because dropped out of it, but we've got Joram into the pits here at the end of lap 1. So is he going to be putting the soft tyres on? Obviously, by the time his safety car period ends, we're only going to have 9 racing laps to go, so it's not completely out of the question to get a set of softs to the end here. There's probably going to be no benefit to putting a set of mediums on. No, he's just putting a set of mediums on, so he must have had damage there. So unseen damage there on the car of Joram, because no point having 1 lap fresher tyres. It's not really going to make any difference whatsoever. So Joram there back out on the track in P11, but clearly had damage, and supposedly the safety car saved his blushes a little bit there. But it's Mike leading ahead of Dino, with Martin in 3rd ahead of Papa Squanch, and you've got Mr. Basil in 5th ahead of Freddie, followed by Costas with Totally Zero, Little Greeby in 9th ahead of the Grebe, and obviously Joram and V10 Ultra running in 11th and 12th places. We've lost Felix, Senna and Crazy Max as we said before, but I want to say a big warm welcome to Freddie, making his debut here tonight on the Motive Racing channel. Good to see you out on track, Freddie, and yeah, welcome to the trials and tribulations here at Motive. Also, I want to just say a big thank you to everybody currently tuning on the stream. We've got Mike there in the comments who says P2, have fun and good luck with your commentary. Obviously Mike now in P1, started in P2, now in P1, so he made a place there off of the line and is now showing everybody how it's done. Obviously with Joram, well, Joram basically pulled off to the side and decided he didn't want to be leading into turn 1, so he's now at the back and will be trying to go from 11th to potentially winning the race maybe. We'll have to see. A long way to go here in this sprint race. Obviously we're coming towards the end of lap 2 under safety car. We're going to have at least 1 more lap under the safety car here, which is going to be a bit of a drag, because obviously we want to get some racing underway. We want to be seeing some side-by-side action. We want to be seeing the guys going absolutely hammer and tong into turn 1 rather than trundling around line of stern here down through the centre S's. But currently we've got Robe in the comments, Robert Rorolonsky there, who races on ACC with us on Sundays and sometimes Wednesdays as well. He's there saying totally okay. Totally okay, obviously, totally okay on Discord, totally zero on PSN, I think. A bit confusing, but yeah. He's there running in 8th place at the moment. But I assume he's voicing his support there for well, I always call him Totally Zero because that's what he's called on Discord. But yeah, obviously I assume he's voicing his support here for our man driving in the McLaren here tonight. Obviously he races with us on ACC as well. There's Totally Zero. There's a couple of guys that race with us on more than one title. Totally Zero races with us on ACC and F1. He also has dipped his toes into a bit of Project Cars too, but he hasn't raced consistently on Project Cars 2. Did a couple of races in our Clio Cup, which we ran on Tuesday night last season, but on the whole, mainly an ACC and F1 kind of man. Joe Arm's raced with us on ACC a couple of times as well, but not really as a regular driver. A couple of other guys who used to race in the F1 league. The Mutts Nuts races with us on Project Cars 2 as well as F1. I can't think of anybody else who races on more than one title actually. I think all of these guys, apart from obviously Joram and Totally Zero as we mentioned, I think they're all solely F1 drivers here. Felix, I've seen him actually race on ACC before, but only once or twice. I mean, generally, for the most part, most of these guys stick to one game and one game only, which is probably the way you want to do it. You want to try and get your skill level to be absolutely maxed out on one game. Oh no, Mike has been into the wall under safety car as he was trying to get his tyres up to temperature. What is going on tonight here at Interlagos? This is absolutely chaotic tonight. As Dino now takes the start as the race leader here coming into turn 1. Martin is all over the back of him but can't make the move. Mr. Basil's got ahead of Papa Squanch here, but Papa Squanch getting a better run there coming out of turn 1. Through the centre S as we go. Papa Squanch there does get ahead of Mr. Basil there up into 3rd place, but wow, Mike there losing his front wing, bidding it into the wall as they were coming out of the final corner. Must have got a little bit too heavy on the warm-up of the tyres, as we've got Totally Zero now trying to make a move here on Costas up the inside. Costas, making a move outside of Totally Zero, should I say. Martin here as trying to stay ahead of, trying to get onto the back of these guys as well. You've got Jerome who's made the move there on the Grieve up into 9th place. He's also got ahead of V10 Ultra as well. So Jerome here up into 9th place on this restart. But wow, absolute chaos there. And Mike there making a big mistake coming out of the final corner. What was he doing there? I've never seen anything like it. As we were just coming round to take the restart, the safety car was peeling in and the race leader decides to warm up his tyres exuberantly and ends up in the barriers with no front wing as a result. He's down in 12th place. He's 25 seconds off of anybody else. It's about 30 seconds off of the race leader Dino, who's coming through the final corner. This is the part of the track where Mike binned it very uncharacteristically there on the previous lap, and it's currently Dino with quite a commanding lead, almost a second already over Papa Squanch, and looking to try and break that DRS barrier, you'd imagine pretty soon here. But Little Beavy in the meantime is on the back of Costas coming into turn 1. He's a bit too far back just at the moment though as they come through into the corner. You've got Joram here all over the back of Martin as they come through the centre S's. These guys are just behind Totally Zero at this point as they're coming now out onto this little back straight which leads down towards turn 4, and Joram's got a heck of a run. Look at that, the straight line speed there is absolutely unbelievable, and he's down the inside there as Joram up into 8th place. Easy pickings there for him in the end. Little Greavy's also got ahead of Costas there up into 5th place. So Little Greavy and Joram both making hay here in the still relatively early stages of this sprint race here tonight at Brazil. We've got Mike there in the comments. He says somebody hit him in the rear. So clearly there's been a bit of controversy here in the start of this one. It looked to me, we were actually riding on board with him at the time, and it looked like he binned it by himself, but clearly he got a bit of encouragement. It could have only been Dino because Dino was the car behind him under the safety car, so potentially a Stewart inquiry coming in there for that one. But Joe Arm in the meantime has got ahead of Totally Zero up into 7th place and now can continue to cut his way through this pack like a hot knife through butter tonight. He's made light work of the cars in front of him. He's not messed around, he's not far-asked about. He's got himself up into P7. He's now on the back of Costas here as they come through the final corner. Down the start finish straight we go, and he's going to make this move surely to the inside there, the side by side as Joe Arm on the inside here of Costas. Is Costas going to try and keep it around the outside? No, he's not. He goes wide there onto the Zero and Martin as well. In fact, no, has he? Martin there makes his way through, coming on the exit of the centre S's. So does the Grieve as well. So Costas losing a load of places there, down to 10th place. He's had an absolute nightmare there in that little moment. As YouTube Freddy in the meantime is on the back of Mr. Basil here in this battle for 3rd place. But this race really heating up here in the sprint race tonight. Interlagos never disappoints, and the sprint races especially, they're so chaotic, it's so close. You know you need to really be aggressive in these sprint races because there's less time to do anything. There's no real strategy that comes into it. It's literally just go flat out from start to finish and hope that you can get as high as you can. But currently Dino leading the race obviously with the or rather with the crash that we saw from Mike. But we believe, according to Mike in the comments section here on the YouTube stream, he reckons that Dino crashed into him, or somebody crashed into him. So that will probably drag on after the race, but for the time being Dino is your race leader and for the time being has his win in in check, but well, that could change. But nonetheless, he is currently leading here as to come over the line to complete lap 6, half distance here in the sprint race tonight. Papa Squanch though keeping him on his toes at the moment. He's not letting it Dino absolutely right off into the sunset, as Joram has made another move here. He's got ahead a little Greavy up into turn 1, so Joram up into 5th place. Beautifully done there from him. In the background we can see that Totally Zero still running just ahead of Martin with the Grieve, Costas, Vita and Ultra there in the background. Not too far away from these guys either. Mike is closing on to the back of the pack, but he's 18 seconds behind anyone at this point, and I think it's unlikely that he's going to get into the points unless something miraculous happens, unless there's a big pile up ahead of him. I think that he'll be scoring nil points for this sprint race here tonight, as we've got Jerome here looking to the inside of Freddie here, and is he going to be able to make this move on the brakes? Freddie holding it around the outside there and doing a good job there of getting the momentum around the outside, and V10 Ultra has picked up a 3-second time penalty. That's popping up on the screen there for multiple track limit warnings, so obviously the game would have warned him that his track limits were becoming a bit of an issue, and they would have said, look mate, you know, you need to calm this down, you need to rein this thing because it's getting ridiculous. And obviously he got to the point where he just was ignoring all of the advice and ignoring all of the warnings, and as such the game has said, well, you know, you've had your luck, you've had your fun, now unfortunately for you, you're going to get a penalty. But Joram in the meantime has made the move around the outside of Freddie. Down start finish straight we go, so Joram has got himself up into 4th place. He's less than 5 seconds off the lead at this point, so he's really charged in the first half of the sprint race. We're coming towards the end of the sprint race now. That's how quickly these ones go by. He's now on the back of Mr. Basil here for P3, as he's got the DRS here down the back straight. He's going to look to the inside, and Joram surely going to move himself to 3rd place. He is going to do it, and Joram there move himself into the podium places. Incredible stuff here from Joram, as Martin's got ahead of Totally Zero as well, up into 7th place. Vita Ultra's also got ahead of Costas up into P10, so it's all happening right now. But Joram into 3rd place. Now can he try and chase down Dino and Papa Squanch, who are 3.5 seconds up on the road? I reckon that might be just a little bit too much of a push here for Joram. Although saying that, if Dino and Papa Squanch continue to battle the way they are, that could potentially slow them down because they'll be more focused. Oh no, as Dino's lost it, the race leader gets sideways there going through the penultimate corner. Papa Squanch now leads the race. Unbelievable stuff there. I didn't see that one coming at all. And suddenly Papa Squanch now leads the race by just under 2 seconds here ahead of Dino. And wow, I definitely didn't see that one happening anytime, well, in this race at all, anytime soon, anytime at all. Dino had just weathered the storm there from Papa Squanch, had been doing his own race, had just been driving consistently out the front, but it's all gone wrong for him there. He's now over 2 seconds behind Papa Squanch. He's only a second ahead of Joram, as Totally Zero's made the move on Martin going through the centre S's, but Martin's trying to come back at him here, and Martin will get the benefit of some DRS here down the back straight as well. He's almost ahead of him as well as to come out of the corner, and there we go, Martin back up into 7th place there. These two McLarens currently trading places right now as they come through turn 4. They've got the Grieve on the back of them as well, who's trying to bring himself into this battle if he possibly can. But Papa Squanch still leading the race. Obviously he took the lead off of Dino, with Dino making that mistake on the previous lap, and he's now got the ascendancy here. Can he bring it home with just a little bit to go in this race? Now Joram's putting up onto the back of Dino for 2nd place, as the Grieve's got ahead of Totally Zero, and that's because Totally Zero's made a mistake here, and Totally Zero's lost out to V10 Ultra, as well as Mike has retired from the race. And I can't say I'm surprised about that one, because he's had an absolute nightmare. There's no other word for it, there really isn't. And Mike here out of this race here, coming towards the closing stages of the sprint race here tonight. But Papa Squanch still leading the race by just under 2 seconds here ahead of Dino. Dino's actually closed the gap on him a little bit since that mistake that dropped him down to 2nd place, but he's also got Joram all over the back of him, so that's probably given him a bit of a hurry up here. And I'm sure that Papa Squanch out front is going to be hoping and praying that Joram gets held up as much as he possibly can by Dino, because Joram, I tell you what, could be a big threat to Papa Squanch's race win here in this sprint race. As Joram here with the DRS looking to the inside now, coming to the end of the back straight here. He makes the move down the inside. Joram there up into P2. Beautifully done there from him, and that was relatively easy as well. So Joram can now try and chase after the race leader Papa Squanch, as he's done the work really well here to get himself into 2nd place. As I'm just noticing there that Mike has left the session, which is a bit bizarre. Hopefully he gets himself back in for the Grand Prix, because obviously, you know, it's not much point in doing the sprint race, and you know, if you're not going to race in the Grand Prix. But nonetheless, Joram up into P2. He's only 1.3 seconds behind Papa Squanch, so Papa Squanch could be vulnerable here to our 3-time champion, as in the meantime Little Groove's made the move on Mr. Basil up into 4th place. Mr. Basil now trying to keep Freddie behind him as well, as they're coming into the final part of the lap. Gap between Papa Squanch and Joram just under a second, but was it under a second at the DRS detection zone? That's the question here. Joram is 8/10, you can see he didn't have DRS. What's he doing? He's weaving around. So I'm not quite sure what was going on there with Joram, but the gap between Papa Squanch and Joram currently just under a second here as they start the penultimate lap of the race, and Mike's just asking for an invite, and of course I will send you that now very quickly, Mike, so do bear with, guys. We're just going to, obviously you can see some quite obnoxious graphics on the screen at the moment, which is going to be affecting your ability to see what's going on. I do apologise for this, it will be gone in a second. There we go, right, invert sent. So Papa Squanch here leading by just under a second at this point, and this is a battle for the lead. Obviously Joram was down at the back at the start of the race, came in for an early pit stop on the first lap, came in for one lap fresher tyres and everybody else. Not that would make a whole lot of difference, but he had to make his way through the pack the hard way here. He's had to make overtake after overtake, was obviously in 12th place. Oh, and Papa Squanch made a mistake, and Joram here's going to seize on that and didn't need a second invitation there. Papa Squanch with a little bit of a slide, and Joram, that was all that he needed, and with just over a lap to go, it looks like Joram has hit the front at the right time here from being at the back in the start, and Joram here is going to now surely bring this one home at the end of this sprint race here for the Brazilian Grand Prix here at Motive for Season 5 here on the EA Sports F1 game. Papa Squanch is in the inside here, coming into turn 1. He's going to try and come back at Joram. Oh my gosh, wow, that was a brave move, and he somehow made it stick as well. Papa Squanch there went absolutely steaming into turn 1 there at the inside. Now Joram's going to try and come back at him here down the back straight, but what a move there from Papa Squanch. That was unbelievable, and Joram here can't get enough of a run here coming in down towards turn 4. Papa Squanch seems to have nicked it here after losing the lead coming towards the end of the previous fight. Is absolute wheels off at this car if he is to take back this lead here in this sprint race. What a move there from Papa Squanch coming into turn 1. That was absolutely brilliant. As here we come down towards the end of the final lap here for the sprint race. It's Papa Squanch who put the pressure on Dino in the first part of the race, kept him on his toes. Dino eventually cracked, made a mistake, gave the lead to Papa Squanch. Joram was coming for both of them, lap after lap after lap, was running in third place for a few laps before he caught up to Dino. He then dispatched him with ease. He then made the move on Papa Squanch, and Papa Squanch made a mistake, but with Papa Squanch there making a late charge up the inside of Joram, who's going to win this race here at the end of this race. It's coming towards the end here, right down towards the line. Joram's going to be a run, he's got the DRS as well. Oh, it's going to be so close, but Papa Squanch just holds on to take the win. Incredible stuff from those guys. Papa Squanch, Joram and Dino, your podium finishes here in the sprint race. Little give you over in 4th ahead of Martin, who finishes in 5th place. Actually loses out to the Grieve there on the penalty, so the Grieve 5th, Martin 6th. In fact, Martin drops to 7th with the penalty, so totally 0-6. Martin in 7th ahead of Freddie, who comes over in 8th. B10 Ultra loses out to Costas on the penalty, so Costas 9th, B10 Ultra 10th, and Mr. Basil completes the finishing drivers here in the sprint race. What a sprint race that was, though, guys. That was absolutely fantastic, and that is you know, that's what we want to be seeing here at Motive here on the PlayStation platform. Well done to Joram on coming from the back to finish in 2nd place, so nearly taking the win there. Our 3-time champion of the F1 League here, putting in an absolute hell of a performance. But Papa Squanch there, I believe his first win here at Motive, so congratulations to him. Papa Squanch, Joram and Dino, your podium finishers. Guys, we're going to go to a new stream. I'll be posting on the Discord in a couple of minutes, so keep an eye out, and that will be live during the formation lap for the Grand Prix. So yeah, stick around and well, keep an eye out, because that will be going live very shortly indeed.